In Venezuela, Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez presented an assessment of the military deployment as a national defense strategy in response to the U.S. threats. The city of Tianjin, China, hosted the 25th meeting of heads of states of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization with the participation of over 20 world leaders. And in Palestine, Israeli strikes on civilians in Gaza continue. Authorities registered at least 88 killed and 421 others wounded over the last 24 hours. Hello, welcome from the South. I'm with Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We'll begin with the news. Venezuelan Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez presented an assessment of the military deployment as a national defense strategy in response to U.S. threats. The defense minister highlighted the deployment of the Bolivarian National Armed Forces during the last 2 weeks, along with the massive enlistment of the people to support national sovereignty. Minister Padrino also added that the army is ready to face any attempt of invasion in the territory. In this sense, the official highlighted the work carried out by the troops at national level after seizing 55,818 kilos of drugs with the goal of guaranteeing a country free of organized crime.
Last Saturday we had said that we had 10,800 troops, beside all the normal protection that we provide to the oil industry, all of the protection that we give to the electric grid system, and all the electric infrastructure of the nation. Our Commander-in-Chief, Maduro, has ordered a larger deployment of 15,000 troops in the bi-state area of Zulia and Táchira. Therefore, we will have more troops from the Bolivarian National Armed Forces, plus militia members deployed in this area, this binational #1 area.
Venezuelan Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez gave an assessment of the operations of the Bolivarian National Armed Forces, emphasizing the importance of maintaining a constant plan in the fight against drug trafficking.
This week we have over 55,000 kilograms of drugs that have been seized by our forces, which is more than last week. As we occupy the territory, we are making more progress. If we want to end this drug business, we cannot do that through Tomahawk missiles. Military force will not end that. We can only finish this with coherent programs.
And the Progressive International Cabinet has issued a statement entitled "No War on Venezuela." The statement reads, "We unequivocally condemn the escalation of U.S. military aggression against Venezuela under the guise of countering threats from narco-terrorist organizations, and we call to stand against U.S. military intervention and the emboldened Monroe Doctrine behind it. This is a return to imperial gunboat diplomacy and dramatic escalation in the ongoing hybrid war against the Bolivarian Revolution after having tried clandestine operations, assaults by mercenary groups, assassination attempts, attempted coups, diplomatic isolation, open threats of military intervention, and suffocating economic sanctions. This renewed war on drugs is part of a long-standing assault against Venezuela over control of its resources and hemispheric domination. A sovereign South America stands in the way of the Monroe Doctrine's full realization." And the Venezuelan people went to the streets again on Saturday throughout the national territory to participate in the fourth day of military enlistment called by President Nicolas Maduro as part of the plan for sovereignty and peace for the defense of the country. The Bolivarian militia has once again set up more than 1,000 points in the main squares and other emblematic spaces of the nation, accompanied by regional leaders, military authorities, and community organizations. The activity is being held under the slogan, "Venezuela is not a threat, it is hope," to express a firm rejection of foreign threats and U.S.-driven destabilization attempts. The country's combat forces joined this new day of military enlistment, reaffirming their commitment to peace, security, and the well-being of the country. The Russian armed forces killed at least 1,340 Ukrainian soldiers over the last 24 hours of fighting. Russian military authorities report direct hits on port infrastructure used by Ukrainian troops along with the Norwegian-made NASAMS anti-aircraft missile system. They further stated that losses of war equipment on the Ukrainian side include 4 battle tanks, 14 armored vehicles, 17 artillery pieces, and 17 radio-electronic conflict stations. Russian soldiers shot down 3 U.S.-made HIMARS shells, 2 guided bombs, and 112 drones. We now have a first break coming up. Remember, you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English. You'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. City of Tianjin, China hosts the 25th meeting of heads of states of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. With the participation of over 20 world leaders, various issues of regional interest will be addressed at the meeting with the aim of strengthening cooperation in the areas of security, economy, culture, and integration. Among the leaders who attended the meeting were the presidents of Russia, India, Iran, and the host country, China. Prior to the meeting, several bilateral encounters were held between Beijing and other countries with a view to strengthen trade and economic relations. In this context, Chinese President Xi Jinping and his wife Peng Liyuan welcomed their Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin to the gala for the heads of delegation of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. The leaders had a brief conversation before the joint photo session. During his stay, Putin will hold several bilateral meetings with leaders and heads of government. As a special guest, he will also be present at the September 3rd military parade in Beijing. In addition, Chinese head of state Xi Jinping met with his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan to strengthen security cooperation between the two countries. Xi called for mutual political trust, support on issues of common interest, and strengthen cooperation on counterterrorism and security. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan highlighted the importance of developing relations with China and affirmed his commitment to strengthening high-level exchanges. At the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, Chinese President Xi Jinping met with his Kazakh counterpart Kassym-Jomart. The Chinese leader emphasized that the two countries are reliable strategic partners. The importance of consolidating and expanding comprehensive cooperation between the two countries was emphasized by the head of state. The two presidents agreed to align their development strategies to identify common interests and promote a fairer international order. Over 20 cooperation agreements in various areas, including energy, technology, and education, were signed at the meeting's conclusion. And we continue in China, where in the context of the 25th Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, the president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, met with the Chinese leader Xi Jinping on Sunday. The Belarusian leader praised China's progress, stating that his country is learning from its experience in various areas, from the military sector to consumer goods. On the other hand, the Chinese president highlighted the high level of relations between the two countries and underlined the commitment to deepen bilateral cooperation in science, technology, and innovation amidst a world facing significant changes. Belarusian Foreign Minister Maxim Hryshenko stressed the importance of the alliance for security, fair trade, and even cultural exchange between the member countries.
We consider the Shanghai Cooperation Organization to be a forward-looking organization that brings together like-minded partners. Today, it comprises 10 countries, including Belarus, and has around 20 other partners and observers who share the same vision of how the world should develop. First and foremost, our work within the organization focuses on channeling stability and security. Secondly, it is about building a fair model of economic and financial cooperation, and, of course, developing relationships in the humanitarian and cultural spheres.
Also in China, after nearly 7 years of estrangement between China and India, China's President Xi Jinping and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi met at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit held in Tianjin. The meeting, which went for about 2 hours, has taken on as special significance due to the rapid improvement in relations between India and China, the tariff dispute with the United States, and India's Prime Minister's conversation with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky before beginning his agenda in China. In a joint official statement, China's and India's premiers said they share the responsibility of promoting unity and advancing human societal progress. One of the first tangible agreements issued from this summit has been the immediate activation of flights between New Delhi and Beijing. Also in this context, Iran's Foreign Minister Saeed Abbas Araqchi said the organization has good reputation worldwide and that it has a unique character that sets it apart from Western initiatives.
We see that many other countries want to join this organization, which is positive in itself. We all have the genuine intention to move forward on this path and of addressing security, economic, and even cultural issues of member states in a way different than Western countries usually do.
In a meeting prior to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, the President of Tajikistan, Emomali Ramo, said he hopes the meeting will serve to strengthen bilateral cooperation.
In an atmosphere of mutual understanding and continue to advance our joint goals. Our collaboration covers multiple areas, including the economy, trade, finance, education, health, and industry. The alignment of the National Development Strategy through 2030 with the Belt and Road Initiative has laid a solid foundation for exceptional cooperation that we continue to consolidate.
And Venezuela's President of the National Assembly, Jorge Rodriguez, arrived in Beijing to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the Chinese victory against Japan.
We come on behalf of our President Nicolas Maduro and the people of Venezuela to pay tribute and congratulate all the Chinese people and its President Xi Jinping for the 80th anniversary of the victory against the brutal occupation to which the Chinese people were subjected by the Japanese fascism. We are happy to bring the embrace of President Nicolas Maduro and the embrace of the people of Venezuela.
The Venezuelan lawmaker highlighted the strengthening of the new multipolar world marked by cooperation among nations.
We are also here to point out how this new world has been strengthened. A multipolar world, a world without aggression, a world where brothers meet to help each other and grow together, and to bring the greatest kind of happiness to our peoples.
Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel arrived in Hanoi to participate in the activities for the commemoration of the 80th anniversary of Vietnam's independence. The Cuban head of state placed a wreath at the monument to Cuban hero José Martí. His action represented the bond of friendship and cooperation that exists between both nations in sectors such as economy and culture. As part of his official visit to Asia, President Díaz-Canel plans to arrive in China and Laos in response to the invitations extended by his counterparts to hold high-level talks. We now have our second break coming up, but before we invite you to join us as we tour Cuba in search of community projects that work every day for the country's present and future. The Cuban Way, from Monday to Friday at 4:30 p.m. Caracas and Havana time, only on teleSUR. Welcome back. At least 88 Palestinians were killed and 421 others were wounded in the last hours during continuous Israeli bombardments against the Gaza Strip. Emergency teams are in search and rescue efforts to reach the victims who remain trapped under rubble, so the death toll could rise in the coming hours. Health authorities confirmed that since October 2023, the number of Palestinians killed in Zionist attacks has reached 63,459, most of them children and women. The Israeli aggression continues unabated in spite of international calls to stop the genocide against the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip.
We were sleeping at 12 o'clock at night and woke up to missiles falling on us. We found the tents next to us on fire, resulting in many deaths and injuries. This massacre is not normal.
We hope, by God, that the war will stop. We are very tired of displacement, fear and hunger, and we are afraid of the night and sleeping in our tents.
Palestine recorded 7 more hunger and malnutrition deaths in the last 24 hours in the middle of the total blockade toward the coastal enclave maintained by Tel Aviv. Health authorities warned that more than 500 people in the Gaza Strip are facing catastrophic conditions shaped by extreme hunger and death due to acute malnutrition. They also warned that more than 54% of the Gaza people are in stage 4 of malnutrition, qualified as food insecurity at emergency level. With the closure of the border crossings, Israel intensifies its plans of ethnic extermination, where to date the number of deaths by inanition increased to 339, including 124 children. And the International Global Sumud Fleet, made up of activists from 44 countries, left Spain for the Gaza Strip with the aim of breaking the siege imposed by the Israeli regime and its allies. The vessel was stocked with basic supplies, among them medicines, food, and educational material to be delivered to the victims in Gaza. The crew is comprised of public figures and activists fighting for the rights of the Palestinian people and condemning the ongoing genocidal aggression. The international fleet mobilizes in rejection of the famine crisis provoked by Israel in the Palestinian territories. And in Spain, during the preparations of the international humanitarian fleet, hundreds of Spanish people gathered in the port Mall del Fusta of Barcelona to express their support to the Palestinian cause. With Palestinian flags and slogans, they condemned the Zionist aggression against thousands of people in Gaza. They also demanded the end of the genocidal operation and the lifting of the humanitarian blockade in the Gaza Strip. And German police repressed protesters during demonstrations against armed conflict and in defense of the Palestinian cause. The participants rejected Germany's rearmament and conscription law and demanded the demilitarization of the country. The uniformed officers attacked the demonstrators with tear gas and arrested several people. Around 3,000 citizens gathered in 2 demonstrations in the city of Cologne, where the violent reparations took place. Thousands of people protested against Israel's siege of Gaza on the sidelines of the 82nd Venice Film Festival, aiming to shift attention from the glitz of movie premieres to the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Palestine. Organized by left-wing political groups in northeast Italy, the demonstration began in the early evening, a few kilometers from the festival venue on the Lido Island. Protesters, estimated about 3,000 to 4,000, marched slowly toward the festival entrance, waving Palestinian flags and chanting slogans like "Stop the Genocide" and "Free Palestine." Organizers from Venice for Palestine and numerous artists and filmmakers have urged the festival to denounce the genocide in Gaza and criticize the complicity of Western governments in the conflict. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. So join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. With TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.